Apparently the Isles community is starved for content, so I'm gonna give it a whirl. I'm like combat level 80 at the time of making this. I'm not super qualified to make this video, but I'm gonna do it anyway. This is a guide on how to get your combat skills roughly to where I am. Enough to wear crimson armor and start doing whatever the hell you want. Let's assume you're starting from scratch. The first thing you're gonna do is that you're gonna run to Morgana, and you're going to pick up your starter kit. Since this is a melee guide, you will be picking up the melee kit here, which should come with all of the tools that you need, all of the general tools, and it should also come with an entire bronze set and some food to get you started. Once you've talked to Mithrandir and looked at the tier 1 adventures and finished out all the basic adventures, the first thing that you're going to do is that you are going to find and locate the armory. The reason why is for a reference point. You can see here that you can actually get up to steel tools and iron armor here, which is really important because it saves a lot of the hassle of needing to smith steel, which is one of the most annoying ingots to smith. You'll need up to level 10 levels in order to use these, so you're going to have to grind up your first few mobs. Start by slapping around some of these Wharfmallow men and women. They're really easy to kill, and they're good for your first few levels. Once you hit level 5, you're going to be able to wear iron armor, so you're going to take all of the stuff that you got, you're going to sell it to the general store, and you're going to come back to the armory and you're going to ditch your bronze armor for some iron armor. So what are you going to kill early? You have 3 options, that's being ducks, sheep, and cows. Sheep are great because they're level 6 and they give 30 XP, which means that they're easy to kill and fast to level with. However, the problem is that there really aren't that many spawns, which means that when you're farming them, you're probably going to run out of sheep pretty quickly. Cows solve this problem by being more spread out, and they also give 35 XP. The problem with these guys is that they can be slightly harder to kill early, so if you don't want to run the risk of burning through food super quickly, then you might not want to fight these guys. The best thing to farm is probably ducks. These guys only give 25 XP, which is the lowest of the 3, but they have spawns that go all the way across the entirety of the Wharfmallow dock. Another added benefit is that at the ends of either dock there is a grill that you can use to grill the duck if you have a cooking level of 15. This will make sure you always have enough food to stay active the entire time. Now that you've picked what mob you want to start with, you should be attack, strength, and defense level 10, and that means that you can head into the armory and you can pick up your steel weapon. At lower levels, the steel battle axe is probably your best bet because it has higher stat total than the other 2. This will get decreased as you move up, so you won't stick with the battle axe forever. Buckle in, because this next stop you're going to be at for a while. We're going to grind all the way from level 10 to level 30 with just 2 mobs, hermit crabs and termites. I know it sounds odd at first, but just trust me. Going to this beach will have lots of crab spawns which you can kill as you work your way down the beach. Once you get to the end of the beach, turn around and go to the termite tree. Kill the 5 termites that are in here, and you'll pop out right at the start of the beach again where the hermit crabs that you killed are already respawned. This method can get early game players all the way up to 70 to 90k XP an hour. Don't forget that once you hit level 20, you can swap out your steel gear for rhodonite gear. Then when you get to level 30, you can swap again to mithril gear and you're ready to fight the next mob. The skunk den is located across this bridge right near the entrance of the magical forest. There are a couple things to note about killing these guys. Be careful going inside, because if you're not careful, they will all aggro on you at the same time, and you could find yourself getting mauled by a bunch at once. Another thing is that all of their drops stack, which means that you don't have to worry about emptying your inventory like you did before. The last thing is that these guys get you upwards of 120 to 130k total XP an hour. The reason why they're so good is because they only have 70 health, but they give 100 experience. It's pretty rare that a mob gives more experience than it has health. By the way, something's going to change when we get here. Until now, we've had every single one of these options selected. When you get to skunks, you're going to turn off defense, because the only thing that defense is really important for is for getting you to the next armor set. The next armor set is all the way at 40, and your defense and your health are already high enough that you don't have to worry about dying, so in order to be optimal, we're going to only level attack and strength, so that way you're dealing more damage faster and therefore getting more XP. The main way that you do it is that you would level only attack up to the point where you get your next weapon. Once you get your next weapon, you're then going to turn attack off and turn strength on and then level your strength up so you're dealing more damage. Then you're going to end with your defense once your attack and your strength are done so that you can get to the next armor set. The reason why we're turning both attack and strength on here is because the next armor set isn't until level 40, and there's actually another step between skunks and level 40 that we're going to get to. That step is when you hit attack and strength 35, and then you are going to swap to our next mob, woodland snails. Now I know it doesn't seem to make sense at first. Why are we killing these guys when they give the exact same amount of XP, and they have almost twice as much health? The answer is that there are so many spawns of these that your XP actually goes up much, much faster, and you end up getting 150 to 160,000 XP per hour as long as you can kill them quickly. When you start killing these, you're going to turn your strength off, and for the reason that we mentioned before, you're only going to level your attack. You're going to level your attack up to level 40 until you can get an adamantium sword. After you have your adamantium sword, you're going to go back to your combat stats, and you're going to turn attack off and strength on. Once you have only your strength on, you're going to level this up to 40 as well. Once you hit strength 40, you'll be able to equip an adamantium dagger, which will allow you to kill the woodland snails even faster. After that, the only thing left to do is to train your defense, as you will now have attack 40, strength 40, and you will still have defense 30. You're going to keep on killing the snails all the way up to defense 40, so you can wear adamantium armor. After you've made your full adamantium armor, we are finally going to kill what some people would consider the best mob for XP, boars. When you're killing these things, make sure that you switch your combat stats back to only attack on. This is because the next breaking point we're going to go for is going to be attack 45. The reason why attack 45 is so important is because you get a plethora of weapons at that level, each of which have very strong effects. Your first option is just to go with the standard Crimson Sword. This is going to be your safest and easiest bet as you just continue along your normal path that you've already been doing. However, the stats on the Crimson Sword are not as high as the other options that you have. Your second option is the Culling Blade, which will cost you around 500 to 700k depending on when you actually buy it. This weapon gives you a 1.75 damage to passive animals, and since boars count as passive animals, the Culling Blade is great for farming them. By using a Culling Blade on boars, if you're lucky enough to get the boar spots alone, you can get anywhere from 200,000 to 300,000 XP per hour. Your last option is to get the Scorpion Scimitar, which is the most all-around weapon. It has pretty good stats, it has a poison effect, and will be useful against pretty much every enemy in the game. Ignoring the Crimson Sword in my inventory, I would recommend the Scorpion Scimitar, as boars are usually hotly contested. What I would do is that I would farm my strength up to 45 using boars, and then I would follow up with my defense up to 45, so that way I can switch out for crimson armor. And then with my crimson armor and my scorpion scimitar, I would move over to the scorpion pit. Scorpions are super underrated because they're usually uncontested like 99% of the time. Scorpions can give up to 250,000 XP an hour, which of course is not as high as boars, but like I said, scorpions are usually uncontested and you can farm these by yourselves. Additionally, scorpions can drop the Scorpion Scimitar, which is an amazing drop that can sell for a decent amount of money. You would know, since you're probably using one. In terms of melee, that officially takes you out of the early game and fully into the mid game. Anything that you kill or choose from now on will be of your own decision, because you already know the two mobs that give you the most XP per hour. The next step, if you're going for XP, might be pirates, depending on how contested it is. But for the most part, you should be good to go to grind for XP, and then you can choose whatever mobs you want as you get stronger to get more loot. That's everything I have for you, so if you thought that I missed anything, or if you want to say something, leave a comment, and yeah, that's all from me. See you.